Hi, guys. Sophie, see, she said she was ready. I think it's a she. Let's see how many people get in here, and then I'm going to go ahead and get right into this video with you guys. This was highly, and I do mean highly requested. Okay. I have my notes here. Oh my God. Okay. Let's see how many people get in here. Hello, 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 everyone. How are you? Well, thank you for hitting the like button before even watching. I may say something you don't like. Let me stop. Hi. Now, you guys, I'm doing this. It's coffee, y'all. It's caffeine. I promise. Because y'all know I've been, in the gym. I can't be drinking like that. I've actually, besides when I go out or when I'm being social, I've actually stopped drinking at home. I'm very proud of myself because I created a really bad habit during quarantine. So it's blurry. It may be YouTube, you guys, because I have my Ethernet cord here. Let me see what it looks like. Ew. I don't like it. Hold on. Let me check my cam real quick. Oh, I'm not. Let's give it a try. Let me know if that improves. Yes, I'm just now getting started. You are right on time. Let me know if it gets better. Let me know if we have an echo situation. So, but before we get into today's video, I'm going to run my intro and then I'll be back.
Hey boos, in this video, I give commentary based on my opinion. Nothing is to be taken as factual. We are just here to have conversation. We don't expose and we don't sip tea on this channel. I'm giving you real talk straight, no chaser. Let's see if you can handle it. Cause I'm a boss. Oh, hell no!
Well, alrighty then. Was there an echo or anything like that? Let me know. Because I need to know. Are we good on the sound? Because I'm ready. I'm ready to get into this. I'm excited. I hope y'all excited because I'm really excited. I'm excited about this. I'm really excited. No echo? Okay. Now, when I play the video, let me know if there's an echo. Please. Please and thank you. Hopefully you guys had a really good weekend because I know I did. I had a really good weekend. And I pulled 3 videos from their YouTube channel off the internet, so we shouldn't have to deal with any type of commercials or ads because y'all know I can't stand that. What is taking so long? I don't know, but my internet has been dragging. She said, I slept all weekend. That is a good weekend. It sure is. No human contact. You don't got to deal with people and their personalities and their, you know, that's a good time. I don't know why, but I'm like, oh my gosh, y'all, my internet is so slow. I may have to reduce the I don't know, I did. Okay, so just give me a sec. I don't know what's going on. Ew, who has AT&T? I can't stand AT&T.
You have to particularize your problem.
I hope y'all watching this AT&T. I can't stand y'all. And I know y'all workers really don't like y'all either. I know the workers they don't like y'all either. That's what I heard. Let me stop before I get some of y'all fired. Shoot. It's always something with AT&T. Like, can y'all just get it together? I want to switch, but it's like, you know, when you don't want to go through the hassle of switching. But I may have to, because I'm at a point where it's just like, okay, this is just ridiculous. Okay. So before we get into today's video, if you don't know who Jordan Peterson is, he is a Canadian clinical psychologist, okay, and an author. So I just wanted to get that out the way. I don't know much about his work. I don't want to talk about any of his race theories, race science. Listen, we are zeroing in on this topic, this subject, okay? If you don't like him, that's fine. I don't have to be best friends with somebody in order to hear them out, hear their perspective, and even agree with them, okay? I don't got to be a fan. I'm just here to react to this subject and conversation. That is it, okay? So the man's name is Jordan Peterson. He is a Canadian psychologist and author, clinical. So I love to see men disagree and argue and rebuttal a clinical psychologist. But there's going to be some people out here that will. So let's go ahead and get into today's video. And we're going to start off with the topic where he talked about why modern men are single.
You have to particularize your problem. Why can't men find women to date? That's not your problem. Your problem is why you can't find the woman you want. Yeah. And you have to assume that's your problem, because otherwise you have to assume that it's the women's problem. Yeah. Really? They're all wrong and you're right. Really? Lucky you. Maybe you are. You're an undiscovered gem of some sort. Probably not.
Did you see the recent article? I think a professor at NYU named Scott Galloway, I believe his name was, and he talked about how that there is a mating crisis going on in the Western world. And one of the reasons why he brought it up was that, you know, in the typical college and university, 60% of them is female, 40% of it is male. And a lot of the college-age females or college graduates who are females, they only want partners who are also college graduates. So have you seen an article? And then what are your thoughts about a mating crisis?
Well, what seems to be happening is that if male enrollment falls below a certain percentage, and it looks like it's something like 40%, then the females start not going too. And that's not surprising. I mean, really? Of course. How many people meet their prospective mates in university or college? Like, well, pretty much everyone who goes that route. So it's not surprising that that would happen with young people. And so, and the fact,
There we go. Can you guys hear me now? Y'all should be able to hear me now. This is stressing me out. Can y'all hear me? Okay. Dang, I was really dropping some stuff. You know, Spirit be talking to me. Spirit be speaking through me. So I'm mad y'all didn't catch that. Okay. Anyway, like I was saying, they both brought up a great point. And the point is, traditionally speaking, within Black culture, and I can only truly speak from Afro-American culture. I can't speak for other Black cultures that are out here. But when it comes to college, it is not taught to us traditionally to consider how college is a mating playground, like a huge. That is something that is not really stressed enough to us, because we're trying to focus on building like we're men, right? Building, making something of ourselves. Our parents are always telling us, you know, school, education, books, no boys. But when you go off to college, you need to understand that college is a mating playground. But choosing the right type of college matters. So you shouldn't just consider, you know, academics and all of that. You should also consider a college campus as far as, is it a good college to find a good mate? Because that's what these other women are being taught. Okay. Thank you, Evolving Love. Thank you so much for the $5. You should also consider, is it a good campus to mate on? That is so imperative. That is something that is not being taught, or was never taught to Black women. You know, we were taught to be independent and all of that. That's great. Still get that education. Learn how to be interdependent, but go to a good school that also has a good mating playground. That is something that I wish I could redo. I wish I could redo it. So if you are, college is great for so many different things. It's not just being educated, getting a career. Like it's a great place to network. Make sure you build a good social group. She said the guys at my school are trash. That's why I'm like, listen, when you're looking for a college campus to attend, consider the men there. Please consider what type of men are going to attend this school. Okay. And learn how to be interdependent, not dependent, not Miss Independent, interdependent, meaning you know how to, you know how to migrate, or you know how to immigrate, or you know how to mold yourself or be a helpmate. Like you're not just solemnly dependent on one other person, or you're not just so independent to where you don't need anyone. Learn to find a middle ground. So, and use college to do that, please. Okay. 26, going for my master's and still looking. I'm assuming looking for a man. Thank you. Is it IB? Thank you for the $4.99. Yes, congratulations. And listen, do not listen. I know we live in a culture that makes you look that where people look down on you for saying stuff like that, but it's like, listen, you if you don't want to end up alone, it's best that you start considering that part of your life. You know what I mean? Because some women will make you feel like something wrong with you or you're desperate for a man. If you know you don't want to end up alone, you need to be active about that. You need to be active about that. Just like you want to be stable, you want to be financially secure, you need to be active about pursuing an education or pursuing a business or pursuing something. You have to be active behind the things that you want. You can't just expect for them to come to you. Just boom. In some cases, if you're lucky, that could happen, or if you're extremely blessed. But for the most cases, you have to put some action behind those things. And that includes having a man if you want one.
The fact that male enrollment is declining is, well, it's a shocking indictment of the education system in general, and the failure of boys all the way through the education system is the same thing, the increasing failure of boys. So, part of it, I thought that part of it might be that girls will play boys' games, but boys won't play girls' games. So there's a bit of that going on with boys themselves, I think. But more
what do you mean
of
by
it
that,
is,
Dr. Peterson?
well, if a girl plays boys' games, she's admired by the girls and the boys. But if a boy plays girl games, well, he's not necessarily admired by the girls or the boys, right? Now, I don't mean that doesn't. I don't mean that boys shouldn't play with girls or something stupid like that.
Yeah.
That isn't what I mean.
I think it's
I'm trying to
useful,
figure
y'all.
out this enrollment.
Because I didn't do nothing.
And obviously, girls, for whatever reason, are being encouraged to value their education in a way that boys aren't, and that's partly marketing and messaging as well, because girls are taught fairly consistently now that they should be their best self, and the world needs more female power, and so on and so forth, and that's probably true. But the underlying message there is, well, instead of boy power and man power, not along with, but instead of.
Yeah.
Because, if women ran the world, there'd be no wars. It's like, yeah, right. Yeah, right. You really think that? It's like, how dim can you possibly be to believe that? It's
So something else I've been hearing, Dr. Peterson, a lot of young men have been sharing with me, and I'm not sure how much you've heard of it or experienced it. They've been sharing that, that they feel as though the average woman has no desire for the average male, and that because of things like social media, online dating, things along those lines, as well as just some of the female empowerment, where a lot of women have this is what they say, an elevated sense of self, that now they feel like they're above a lot of these average males, which also contributes to a disparity between young adults being able to.
Before he gets into making his point, do men want an average looking woman? That's what I want to know. Do men want an average looking woman? And the reason why I ask that is because 9 times out of 10, men go out here and they looking for the baddest of the baddest, right? They're looking for the baddest of the baddest. So because of that, women invest a lot into their looks. Even though we get a lot of ish about it, they make fun of us about it, particularly Black men. They love to make fun of women who actually prioritize their beauty, whether they get plastic surgery or they're getting things done. They understand that, the more you invest in your looks, a woman, the more you invest in your looks, not only do you feel better, not only do you look better, but you have the confidence to match. So I think it's funny how he is sitting up here making this point, saying that this is what modern men feel, this is how they feel, but then they don't want to go for an average woman with good qualities, right? A woman of good character, morals, integrity, average looking at best, right? Y'all would go for someone like that. So why do y'all expect for women to do that? Because you don't meet her standards? Because it's easier for you when you don't meet her standard. It's easier for you to force her to lower her standards so that you can meet him. That doesn't make sense to me. So this can go both ways. This can go both ways. 600 beautiful women in the chat. I just appreciate super chatting to be seen, need attention. Well, thank you for the $5. Is it Percy? Or Piercy? Hold on. Michael, thank you. Thank you. I haven't seen you in a while. Thank you for the $9.99. I haven't been able to catch a live lately. I miss your content. Just wanted to show some support. Thank you. So sweet. I've watched some of the roommates podcast episodes and stuff like that, and they're constantly talking about a woman's looks, constantly comparing them to just unrealistic standards. So it's interesting how he has this mindset when it's flipped, though. So if you're gonna be shallow, and this is the thing that I can't stand about men like him, right? They put out this energy that they're so shallow because they're so fixated on a woman's look, right? But then they don't expect for a woman that they are after to be shallow back with them. Like, make that make sense. Can someone make that make sense for me? How do you embody this shallow energy? You chase women based off of shallow standards, but you don't expect for her to be shallow towards you. What sense does that make? That doesn't even make sense. You attract what you are. So if you don't want a shallow woman, you don't want her to have these outrageous standards, you shouldn't have these outrageous standards when it comes to her look. So y'all not making no sense. Y'all sound ridiculous, but we're going to continue. Y'all sound ridiculous, and he ain't making no sense.
Connect and form meaningful relationships.
Yeah, well, women are more picky in their mate choices than men, especially sexually. That's the case in every culture. It's not surprising because women have more at stake sexually than men do, per episode, because men don't get pregnant, obviously.
Did y'all hear that?
So that female pickiness is that's the case. That's definitely true. Whether it's worse now or not, I doubt if it is. I would say to young men who are irritated at women is, if you're irritated at women, as a class of creature, there's something wrong with you because they're right. You're wrong. And
you know what's funny about this conversation is, they complain about women being picky, but don't y'all tell us to choose better? So doesn't requiring a woman to choose better mean that she need to be a little more selective, picky, right? Make it make sense. Y'all don't be making no sense. Y'all don't. Choosing better means a woman has to be selective, right? Because that's with anything in life. Like, this conversation can be applied to just about any and everything. We were not conditioned, neither men nor women were conditioned to settle for average. We were always forced. I have to turn on my mic, you guys. We were always forced to achieve better in academics, sports. I mean, that's the world that we live in. So why would this conversation be any different? Why would this conversation be any different? That it just does not make sense. It doesn't. If I don't turn on my mic, guys, you can't hear me. So I don't know what to tell you. Okay. Okay. Men, hold on. Ooh, Lord. Hold on. Men love looks. Women love hypergamy. Most of us are out here single and frustrated. Like, we got to work on ourselves for growth, not competition. I miss sex. Thank you for being honest. Because, some women are afraid to be this honest. I miss sex. But listen, that's the sacrifice that you have to make to get what you want out of life. It is. Oh, I appreciate the $4.99. Thank you for dropping that knowledge, that reality check for a lot of us. Women stepped it up by being more resourceful. Woo, you ain't lying about that. So men need to step it up by being that and emotionally intelligent. Yeah, you ain't lying about that. And I hope they watch this video and take some notes. Hold on. We got one more super chat. Oh. Thank you. Did you see the roommate make the second video where they said Peterson was out of touch? I'm gonna be girl. Just hold on, sis. You ahead of me. Hold on, sis. Hold on to your seat, because I collected all three of them videos. I collected all three videos, including the pornography one.
Right to not pick you. If they're not picking you, it's because they're right.
Wow.
Now that might get. I know that's a terrible thing to say, and I know perfectly well. It wasn't like I was particularly successful with girls when I was young, so I know what that rejection is like. I know what that fear is like. I don't know it as well as some men know it because I wasn't rejected outright. But what you have to understand is that, what do you expect from women? If you got pregnant because you had sex, you'd be pretty damn choosy too. So, clue in a bit. And then, well, don't they find you attractive? Well, maybe you're not. Like, have you paid attention to how you dress? Do you have a plan?
Listen, men are not conditioned men are not conditioned to place themselves in a woman's shoes. Women are. Women are conditioned to always consider everyone else. So a man, they don't even know how to put themselves. Majority of men are not taught. They don't even know how to put themselves emotionally and in some cases physically in a woman's shoes. So they can't relate in that way. A woman is always going to be able to try to understand and relate to a man because we were groomed to do so. If not, then we would be considered unfit. We wouldn't be considered a quality woman, right? So why isn't that being preached the same way that it's being preached to us to be considerate of a woman as a man? It should be preached to them in the same way. And I feel like Black women, I feel like we go too over the top with that. We go above and beyond. We become the sacrificial lamb within our relationships in marriage because that's all that we know. We only know sacrifice. So we have to stop doing that. But men don't know how to do that because they're not being socially programmed to do so. So they don't know how to place themselves in a woman's shoes. They don't know what it's like to be a woman and how it's and how women should be more choosy. They kind of get an idea once they have a daughter or they have a sister, but it really shouldn't take all of that. It should be taught to them to consider what it's like to be in a woman's shoes. And it's not. Yeah, JP knew exactly who he was talking to. You ain't lying about that. He sure did. So I think we should consider that when it comes to this conversation. They're not even thinking like that because they're not taught to think and consider what it's like to be in a woman's shoes, have sex, have so much on the line. Your body, your youth, time, right? Are you choosing someone that could potentially abuse you, whether it's emotionally or physically? There's so much on the line when it comes to women, and men don't ever consider that. So being picky, that's something that we have to do. That's something that is a must. And this is why Black women, we find ourselves in the situations that we find ourselves in because we're taught to settle. We're not taught to be picky. We're not taught to be picky. We're taught to stick it out, be a ride or die, hold it down, be strong. And so we find ourselves in situations where we're constantly being either abused, mistreated, abandoned because we're not taught to be picky. But we're changing that. So y'all need to get on board with it. And men, y'all can fight us all day. Y'all can fight us all week. Y'all can fight us all day. But it's our job to do this as a woman. It's our job.
as educated as you could be? You know, are you liar? Are you a rabid pornography user? Because maybe that's undermining your motivation to seek out a woman and grow yourself up. It's like, if you're rejected constantly and you're out there really trying, you know, because that's another thing to ask yourself is, well, how many women have you actually asked out? And are you so sure that you're not picking women who will certainly reject you because you're trying to bat out of your league? Because you might be.
Thank you for the $20, but I'm laughing.
I'm speaking about this as a clinician too, because I had plenty of men in my practice who were, you know, radically unsuccessful with women. I had one man in particular. He was so afraid of women, he couldn't use the phone. He was too afraid of everyone to use the phone. And he'd been bullied like mad. And you know, he had his problems. So I know what this is like, but pornography is a big problem. It's a big problem. It's a real curse, that pornography.
A huge problem.
In my opinion, because it's an easy out. And so we don't know what the consequences of that are. We're starting to understand some of them. But if you were better, you'd be more successful with women. Yeah. So you have to have that in your mind. And you cannot be angry at women. It's stupid. Women, it's like women being angry at men. It's a sign of psychological trouble, that.
So you feel as though Dr. Peterson is that, you know, for the...
Now, did y'all hear that, ladies? Because I know a lot of y'all missed that. He said it's the same as women being angry at men, collectively. Because some of the things that he's saying within this video, it applies both ways. It does. And a lot of y'all do not want to admit that. It does. It applies both ways. That part, at least. You can't be mad at all. You can't be mad at all men. At some point, you got to think, well, I haven't met all men, so how can I be mad at all men? Y'all need to start being mad at individuals, because an individual did you wrong. And if you keep surrounding yourself around individuals that continuously do you wrong, there's something wrong with that. There is. And I went through a phase where I blamed men for everything. I was hurting. I was bitter. I can admit that. I can admit that. But I grew up. I matured. I healed. It took time because I was angry at a lot of people, a lot of men that did me wrong. So let's make that very clear. I have no problem admitting that publicly in the open. It is what it is. And the more I speak that truth, the more I heal within my journey, this walk that I'm walking, and the more I meet better quality men too. Like, that's the part that no one talks about. When you can admit this, you meet better quality men. Because that acknowledgement is almost like, oh, I can do better. Why do I keep tolerating this from this man? You start to attract better quality too. Once you can admit it openly, publicly, proudly, authentically. So it is what it is. Nobody can ever throw that up in my face. It's my past. I'm proud of it. Thank you for the $10. Men who have the highest standards waste time at the end. They hit a period I call a mini midlife crisis. Woo! Where they end up picking the wrong woman. They fall into a prey of the wrong woman or the wrong person. Definitely. Thank you. Oh yeah, girl, this is definitely growth, because when I was younger, you told me, oh, it ain't all men. Oh, I had an attitude. I was ready to go off on you. I had an attitude. I was the type of girl that would start clapping my hands together, getting loud, wanting to get confrontational. I'm not like that anymore. There was a YouTuber on here that made a video about me, about my past, and I'm like, I'm very proud of that. That's who I used to be. Who you see now is a totally different person. You can't be angry at women. Yes, get angry at women who refuse to lay with the broke. That don't even make sense. Thank you, thank you. That don't even make sense. Okay, let's get back to it.
For the men who are complaining about the standards of women today and it being elevated, that it's not so much a focus of pointing the finger at them not choosing them, but more so looking in the mirror and asking themselves what can they do to improve themselves to be so desirable, instead of focusing simply in on the inability of you know what
be
you're
a
going
little
through today.
stronger, be a little stronger, dress a little better, speak a little more clearly, aim a little higher, like, and practice that, you know, and that'll work. Now, you know, I know that that's more difficult for some people than others, because some people bear incredibly difficult developmental burdens, you know, and I'm not saying that this is easy, but I'm saying that it's a useful reaction. Like, what else are you going to do? What else are you going to do? Complain about women? You know, I've seen that in men. I went out with a group of men who were having trouble with their wives, and they'd gone off to this like couples retreat, and it was mostly rubbish, although they were trying a bit to get their lives together. And I spent a whole day with them. There were 3 of them, and one of them was a guy that I'd known for quite a while, and every single word he said was a lie. And so,
Very
all
true.
these 3 did the whole day was complain about
but
their
I
wives.
was
And I thought,
angry.
what the hell's wrong with you guys? Like, you picked them. They're these women you picked, you know, and maybe they have their flaws, but they're your wives. And that's how you talk about them. And you think they're the problem? You're so dumb that you don't even know that you shouldn't badmouth your wife just because she's your wife. Like when Tammy and I got married, we had a discussion about that. It's like, she has her flaws and I have my flaws, but I'm her husband and she's my wife. And there's a certain respect that goes along with that category, if you have any sense. And so that's an extension of the same thing. You know, it's best to look to yourself. Now and then you can, you know, things have gone rotten in society, and you have to bear your responsibility. You have to address that at a social level and a communal level. But fundamentally, it's like, and you do so much less harm if you look to yourself first as the problem. But then believe me, you're plenty of problem for you. You're all the problem you need for you. That's for sure.
So what would you say, Dr. Peterson, to the young men who are pushing back on this idea?
He didn't like that.
The young men who say, like, you know, traditionally speaking, there was a sort of mating where if you were a guy, you're a middle class, you can get a middle class partner. You're a guy making $40,000 a year, you can get a certain level of partner. That in some communities, in some environments, you know, because of, you know, degrees or things like that, if you're a guy, you know, making $50,000 a year or $60,000 a year, and you're doing relatively well, that the women in your cohort who are similar partners to you may not desire you. Instead of wanting a partner making 60, want a partner making 80. So what would you say to those guys?
Mostly I'd say that was an excuse. But I wouldn't go farther than that, because, you know, I don't know how to answer those questions in some ways at a collective level, which is why I focus on the individual. If someone came to me and told me that, the first thing I would do is listen to them for like 10 sessions, just to find out what they're thinking and to find out what the problem actually is, because they think they know what the problem is. You know, it's these picky women, and that could be the problem. You know, for them, it might be. Maybe.
I'm sorry, but can we keep it all the way real? As a society, it doesn't even matter what gender you are. We were never taught to aim low or to aim average. We were taught to reach for the stars, chase our dreams, right? Get the best, be the best, receive the best. Why are y'all trying to force women to aim low? We've never been taught to aim low, ever. Like, that doesn't even make sense. Like, y'all, you know what I hear? They won't pick me. They won't pick me. Oh my gosh. And it's coming from such a shallow place because the women that they are referring to and the women that they're talking about, it's based off of a aesthetic. And you expect to find quality character, quality standards in a woman like that. Ridiculous, y'all. Ridiculous. And then y'all wonder why I got rid of the Instagram baddie look. I don't even dress like that no more because I'm not even trying to put off that energy. So I don't want a shallow man, so I'm not trying to put off that energy of being a shallow woman. Y'all out here putting this energy out of being a shallow man, and then you expect to attract a quality woman? Sorry. Y'all say women are naive and women are delusional, but y'all just as delusional to me. Y'all sound ridiculous. Come on.
There's a demographic issue or community issue that I don't understand. So I wouldn't assume that I knew what the problem was, but those sorts of things, in my experience, have to be solved at a high level of detail, like at high resolution. So let's say you are having trouble finding a mate, and you think, well, I'm reasonably symmetrical. I'm in decent physical condition. I'm young. I have a decent salary, but still, okay, well, that's a deep dive issue. I don't know what's wrong. We'd have to talk about that. And I do mostly listen. It's like, you seem okay. So why don't you have a partner? Well, that's a deep mystery. Like, it's really a deep mystery. It's nothing trivial. There's no simple solution to that. And so, again, that's why I don't really do sociology in some sense, except insofar as I understand the role of the individual in relationship to society. So I would say to someone like that, practically, if you want to do something, go see a cognitive behavioral psychologist and take the problem apart and strategize. That you'll figure out how to fix it. That's good.
That's good because I think
it's a serious problem, right?
Yeah, definitely a serious problem. And I think what ends up happening is that, like you said, too many people create a one-size-fit-all problem to what they're going on. So they say, well, the reason I'm unsuccessful is because of the A, but in reality, if you could talk to a wiser individual and sit down, you might realize that the problem isn't aka the women. Maybe the problem is that you're lacking confidence, you're lacking communication skill, you're picking the wrong kind of individuals, and there's a myriad of varieties of issues instead of just simply making it just a one-size-fit-all problem.
Yes, absolutely. Well, it's also in some ways a lot less depressing to particularize like that, because you find out a bunch of problems you don't have, right? So you can just those aren't my problems. It turns out my problem is this, and then that might be non-trivial, and probably is, but at least it's not everything, right? And I also think that
I want to elaborate more on the Instagram baddie, okay? Because it goes for men as well. Men who want to be flashy, you want to wear the chains, you want to have a stack of cash in your pocket, you just want to be overly flashy. You're attracting shallow women with that. You're not attracting a woman of quality with that. The same thing with me. When I was out here with the super long acrylic nails, I still like my long weave. I do. But I tone it. I balance it out. My nails are shorter. How I dress is more conservative. I don't try to keep up with the Instagram baddie trends. I don't do that because I'm not trying to attract a low vibrational man. And I hate to say it, but like, social media is toxic. It's a bunch of low vibrational people on there that are very shallow, and they are attracted to aesthetics, to look a certain way, not to necessarily be, but to just look. And so you're going to attract a certain type of crowd with that. It is what it is. Yes. Hold on. Thank you. Is it Themis? I was sent your live from a few of my subbies. And I love your content. You're so well-spoken and soft-spoken. And it's refreshing. It's refreshing. Please subscribe to his channel, you guys. Y'all know I support the small YouTubers. Okay. I like new faces. I like different opinions, different perspectives. Support, especially when they Black. Okay. What was I saying? Oh, yeah. So please understand that when you are putting yourself out there in that way, you're going to attract shallowness. Like you're picking shallowness over quality. And that's something that you have to consider. You're welcome. Okay, let's get back to it.
When we talk about things like climate change, it's like, well, really, there's no such thing as the climate. It's not a useful word when you're trying to solve a problem. And what do you mean by change exactly? These are really low-resolution concepts, and all the solutions are high-resolution. And it requires particularized expertise to solve some genuine, actionable problem. You have to decompose the problem, and then you have to be satisfied with addressing some micro element of it. There's no fixing climate change.
Yeah,
that conceptually, it's just an indication of unsophisticated thinking. That's all it is. And then there's an insistence. Well, climate change is real. Well, what do you mean by real? What do you mean by change? What do you mean by climate? How much do you know about climate? And I'm just picking on that because it's a real overgeneralization. It's not helpful. Yeah. And when you talk to real experts, they've particularized. So I'll give you an example. Glenn Schellenberger, I hope I got that right. I just talked to him. He wrote this book recently called Apocalypse Never. And he was a climate activist, an eco-activist for a long time. But you know, he kept delving into things and particularizing them. And then he wrote this book. And one of the things he said was, he talked to an MIT scientist who said, if you want to knock carbon dioxide emissions down, the best thing to do would be to work to help India burn more coal. It's like, who would guess that except a particularized expert? And the reason for that is that it's better than wood. And it's a pathway on the way to natural gas and perhaps nuclear. But it's not obvious. Yeah. Because in the short term, it makes the problem worse, or it seems to. And so that's particularized knowledge. And you have to particularize your problem. Why can't men find women to date? That's not your problem. Your problem is why you can't find the woman you want. Yeah. And you have to assume that's your problem, because otherwise you have to assume that it's the women's problem. And really, they're all wrong and you're right. Really? Lucky you. Maybe you are. You're an undiscovered gem of some sort. Probably not.
No, that was really powerful, Jordan Peterson. I love the call always back to accountability. And so as one who's been married for so many decades, I think one of the challenges a lot.
The Instagram baddie is not just filter. It's trends. And it changes every year. So, I mean, the core is lace front, long acrylic nails, Fashion Nova, basically fast fashion in general. But that's what it is. It's not all filter, but it can come with filter. It just depends.
A lot of men do is they aim for the wrong women, or they pick the wrong women. So in your personal experience from your years of marriage, and there's also years of study, what would you say are things
definitely the BBL
focusing in on when it's trying to select a woman for a long-term marriage partner?
Well, you want someone honest. That's really, really important. Someone who will do her best to tell the truth. And my wife swore she'd do that before we got married, and she has. Probably better than
he really didn't. Not at all.
And so that's a rock, man, at the bottom of things, you know. So and you can't underplay the role of sexual attraction. And that's a mysterious thing. And so that's that's crucial as far as I'm concerned, and can't be
So I have
just,
a real
you know,
question about
yeah.
that, Jordan Peterson, Dr. Peterson. So you mentioned pornography, and we do countless pieces of content to be able to help young men overcome that issue and provide a tons of resources to help them support them. So what I've noticed that happens sometimes is because of years of watching pornography, the men's sexual attraction becomes warped. And so how can a man whose sexual attraction to women has become warped to the extreme ends due to so much consumption of pornography, how can that man go back to now being attracted to, you know, more natural looking women or more women that could be around their, you know, their lives instead of the projected?
Well, deprivation,
you know,
is helpful.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, so I think it's reasonable to assume that there's a novelty edge in pornography, like there is in so many
Let's get into this.
quasi-addictive
Let's get into this.
phenomenon, you know, because it's super satiation, and it's a non-trivial technological problem. You know, it's now possible for young men to look at more beautiful nude women in one day than any man has ever seen, you know, prior to 10 years ago, 20 years ago, than any man in history had ever seen. That's not nothing. That's something. And to think that doesn't do anything to you, it's like, no, that likely does something to you.
Who is in the comments? Just say it's you, baby. Yeah, it's him, all right. A lot of these men really think like they can't live without porn. They cannot live without it. They are obsessed. So let's go ahead and get into this because this is the part that I'm waiting. This is the part that I'm really excited about.
What would you say are things that men need to be focusing in on when it's trying to select a woman for a long-term marriage partner?
Well, you want someone honest. That's really, really important. Someone who will do her best to tell the truth. And my wife swore she'd do that before we got married, and she has. Probably better than I have. And so that's a rock, man, at the bottom of things, you know. So and you can't underplay the role of sexual attraction. And that's a mysterious thing. And so that's crucial as far as I'm concerned, and can't be.
So I have
just,
a real
you know,
question about that, Jordan Peterson, Dr. Peterson. So you mentioned pornography, and we do countless pieces of content to be able to help young men overcome that issue and provide a tons of resources to help them support them. So what I've noticed that happens sometimes is because of years of watching pornography, the men's sexual attraction becomes warped. And so how can a man whose sexual attraction to women has become warped to the extreme ends due to so much consumption of pornography, how can that man go back to now being attracted to, you know, more natural looking women or more women that could be around their, you know, their lives instead of the projected?
Well, deprivation,
you know,
is helpful. You know, I mean, so I think it's reasonable to assume that there's a novelty edge in pornography, like there is in so many quasi-addictive phenomenon. And so it has to become, because novelty is a sexual kick, it has to stay novel. And that means that over time, it's going to become more extreme. So that's not good. Well, so how do you resensitize yourself in some sense? Well, you stop. And then hopefully you recover. And then you deprive yourself of that outlet, let's say. And you might say, well, you know, is that absolutely necessary? And maybe there's nothing wrong with pornography. It's like, well,
it's called self-discipline. I'm sorry, y'all, but like the reason why I'm not talking a lot is because I'm trying to get them to get to a point, but they be so wordy. Like this whole interview was wordy. It's very wordy. It's called self-discipline. You have no control over your own flesh. You have no control over your own flesh. If you don't have control over your own flesh, you don't have control over your life. And that's concerning. That is very concerning to me. So y'all need to get it together. You don't have control over your own flesh?
I don't know, man. Like, have you ever really met a guy who is proud of that? Like, you know what I mean? That makes him feel like I'm the guy, man. I'm watching pornography and getting off. It's like, what a man. I don't believe anyone feels that. And to me, maybe I'm wrong. And to me, that's an indication that, yeah, we know. No, it's pretty cheap. It's cheap. It's easy. And, I say that knowing that I believe the research evidence shows that if you introduce pornography into a community, that rates of sexual crime committed by men upon women actually decline. So there is perhaps some utility in the outlet.
Now, Yoni don't agree with that. Nope. And I'm about to get into why. I don't agree with that part. Women being violence against women is at an all-time high when it comes to rejection. Men feeling entitled to women, and I really feel like it stems from pornography. Because think about it. When a man is programming his mind, his subconscious, to have easy access to a woman through pornography, he tries to convey that in real life or real time. So because of that, if he gets rejected, or if a woman is not giving him sex, whatever the case may be, he may react in a violent rage. So I don't agree with that. I think pornography has increased femicide, because these men nowadays, they just feel so entitled to your body, your sexual energy, just your time, and they don't feel like they have to put in any work for it. Pornography. So I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that part. It has not lowered. No, he tripping with that. And honestly, I would like for some type of I would like to see statistics on that. I would like to see some type of study being done behind that, because I don't agree with that. I don't. Like, we see more women on the news now than ever when it comes to violent rage within men against them, and it's rejection, just rejection, saying no. Why is it that it just seems like it's at an all-time high for a woman to be like, I feel like there's more to it. I feel like there's more to it. I don't agree with that part. I feel like there's way more to it. I do. So I just can't agree with him on that. I think it has increased violence against women because of pornography. And the reason is because men nowadays they don't feel like they have to earn your body. They don't feel like they have to do much of anything. And when it comes to pornography, all you got to do is pick up your phone, and that's it. And that's basically how they treat you in real time, real life. So I think pornography has a lot to do with to deal with that, to do with that. So I don't agree with him on that one.
But that's a unidimensional analysis. It doesn't take into account all the other effects of pornography.
Yeah.
So including the ones you described. And I think that those are real. It makes sense that they're real, because it's super satiation. And it's a non-trivial technological problem. It's now possible for young men to look at more beautiful nude women in one day than any man has ever seen, prior to 10 years ago, 20 years ago, than any man in history had ever seen. I
also want to include social media too, not just pornography, but social media. Men can now see a woman in more nudity on Instagram, Twitter, everywhere. So when they don't get it in real time, when they don't get it offline, they react in a violent rage. I feel like there is a connection. It used to be, in order to see a woman, just say her breast, Men would have to go through so much to just see a pair of boobs. So now it's just easy access. So because everything is instant gratification, they expect that out of women in real time, and that is not realistic. So it's just very dangerous.
Not nothing. That's something. And to think that doesn't do anything to you, it's like, no, that likely does something to you. So don't substitute the false for the real. And don't underestimate the utility of deprivation. You know, what do we need to drive us forward to have the adventure of our life? You know, well, some deprivation, that's for sure. That heightens desire and drive, and maybe you need that. You're afraid to approach a woman. Well,
I'm gonna say this, Mimi, you brought up a great point. I have been saying this on Instagram. It has never, in the history of being a woman, it has never benefited women to do what men do. Never has. It never has. You know what? It never will. You want to know why? Because we're not the same. We're different. It has never benefited women to do what men do. And then in reality, why do you want to do what they do? Why? I mean, I'm just saying. It has always backfired on women when we go out here and we try to do what men do. It has never benefited us. Ever. It has always backfired. And a lot of us won't admit it because of our pride, our ego, but it has never benefited us. And you know what? It doesn't benefit men to do what women do. It doesn't. It does not. Unless you're like a cross-dresser or whatever like that. Even when it comes to gay men, a lot of times, or even lesbians, they feel like they have to embody or do what men do, or gay men feel like they have to do what women do. But it's like, you can still be gay. Your sexual orientation can still be the same sex, but you don't have to necessarily do what women do in order to be that, or to embody that, or to be gay. And I think I've actually encountered lesbians that grew up being a stud when they didn't want to be, because they were lesbian, because they felt like that was the only way that they could express their sexual orientation. But now they're more feminine. They're more feminine lesbian. There are some women out here that do want to be or embody a more masculine energy as a lesbian, but some women, they didn't. They just felt like they had to because they were attracted to women. So it's just something to think about. But in the history, I have never seen in the history of feminism, when we go out and try to do what men do, where it has actually benefited us. There is power in being a woman. So I don't get that part. Listen, I don't even think that if double standards weren't in place, that it would still benefit women to do what men do, just because of biology. So it's just something to think about. Yeah, it has. It has. Hold on. But there are women that will argue you down that doing what men do is beneficial to them. So, but I don't see the benefit. I have yet to see the benefit. I've seen the backlash. I've seen the negative outcome, but I haven't really seen the actual benefit. There are a lot of women that are tired. They feel overworked, drained. They feel like they're not seen, they're not appreciated, and it's because you wanted to do what men do. So now that you out here doing what men do, you're seen as one of them. You're not seen as this delicate flower. You're seen as one of the guys. And listen, I can tell you this as a girl that grew up a tomboy, people don't see you. They don't. But when you stand in your feminine energy and you're this delicate flower, you play the dismantle and distress, everyone sees you. Everyone is rushing to your side, rushing to your aid. So it's just something to consider. And it's like, why don't women use that to their advantage? Why do you feel like you have to go out here and do what men do? Something to think about.
You remove part of your drive with pornography. And so now you don't have that sexual urge to overcome that anxiety. And so you stay timid for your entire life. You know, maybe not, but maybe.
So with 12 rules for life and also with Beyond Order, you've amassed so many amazing rules that I just think it's just so phenomenal. One of my favorites is Rule 4 and 12 Rules for Life. You know, don't compare yourself to others. Where others are today, compare yourself to who we were yesterday. And so in your opinion, obviously, you know, there's so many rules that are great, but what do you think is probably, if somebody was to read those books and there's one rule that you're like, this rule out of the 24 I've given you over these past few years, you can absolutely not get this one wrong, which rule would that be? Tell
the truth, or at least don't lie. Because you can't tell the truth, right? Because who are you to tell the truth? That's a mighty tall order, man. But you can stop saying things that you know are lies, and that will change your life if you do that. And it's crucial.
Why would it change their life?
Well, how can you adapt to reality when you falsify it? And you think, well, I'm just lying to other people. It's no, you're not. You can't just lie to other people, because what you say becomes you, especially if you practice it. Because we build ourselves out of words. And
listen, y'all, I do not push femininity is not a monolith. Okay. There's this light femininity, and then there's this dark femininity. Femininity doesn't mean that you're weak. Femininity doesn't mean that when I speak on femininity, I'm speaking on the fact that use that to your advantage, but you also need to understand how to be masculine, how to use your dark femininity. That is actually a thing that we need to talk more about. Dark femininity is a real thing. And to be honest, I represent dark femininity than anything. Because if you coming at me sideways, that sweet talk is out the window. You disrespect me, that sweet talk is out the window. Will I be confrontational, combative, just right off the bat? No, but if you threaten me, it's going to be a problem. I don't tolerate disrespect. So y'all need to reprogram your minds on what femininity is, because it's not a monolith. Like, femininity is an energy. And you got to know how to use it. You also have to know how to use your masculine energy. You don't just get rid of it just because you're feminine. It's something that is within you as well, especially when it comes to survival. So life is all about balance. And I cannot stress that enough. Too much of anything is bad. Too much of anything is bad. So always keep that in mind with just about anything that I say on here. Balance is key to a happy life.
And that can be lies in action too. It's like, don't say things you know to be false. That's a good start, man. And it aligns yourself with the truth. And how can that be a bad idea? Imagine that what is true reflects reality, which is sort of the definition of true. How can failing to align yourself with reality work? How is that possibly going to work? Well, you say, well, I can, if I lie, I get away with something. It's like, no, you don't.
Good for her, though. She woke up.
I swear this is true. In all of my clinical practice, I have never, ever seen anyone ever get away with anything even once. You think the chickens won't come home to roost. It's like, all that means is you're too stupid to see what your lies caused, or too blind, or too self-deceptive. You just don't see it. And so you don't get away with anything. Nothing. It's terrifying to
Thank you for the super
understand that. It's terrifying. What if you can't get away with anything ever? Well, that's the judgmental God, fundamentally. That's a very old idea, and it's an old idea for a reason. And of course you can't get away with anything, because imagine that you took a flexible plastic comb, and you bent it backwards, and you say, well, I got away with that. It's like, well, what's going to happen when you let go? It's going to snap back and hit you in the face. And that's life, man. You warp the structure of reality. You think you are someone who can warp the structure of reality with your words and get away with it? Really? No, man, that should terrify you right to the core of your soul. You're not God. You can't do that.
Dr. Peterson, you've said that you've never seen someone get away with lying.
Anything.
What do you mean by that? Because I can imagine if somebody listening to this right now who said, well, I haven't told the truth and I got away with.
Listen, Jordan Peterson throughout this entire live has made it very clear that integrity is good quality. He keeps repeating himself. How many times does he have to say it? Like how many ways can he lay it to you or give it to you? Like he's literally saying honesty, integrity. You're not getting away with anything. You're not. So many people feel like they're getting away with things and they're not. How many people right now are being exposed? Even on YouTube, people are being exposed. I preach on this channel all day, every day. A high value man is a man with integrity. A high value woman is a woman with integrity. Point blank, period. It starts there, it ends there. It's not about how much money you have, what car you drive, if you live in a really nice uppity neighborhood. It is about integrity. It will always be about integrity. That is of value. Nothing else in this world is of value without integrity. That is how the world works. So I always say this. You know you have a high value man when he has integrity. He's going to do right by you when you're around. He's going to do right by you when you're not around. He's going to do right by you in the midst of his mistakes, because people are not perfect. I don't expect for men to be perfect, but if they do make a mistake, I do expect for them to have integrity and take accountability. That is a high value man. So you got all these men in the manosphere teaching high value, get money. Then you get the women that makes you high value. It does not. It doesn't. It doesn't. So I don't even like saying high value because people don't even know. People don't know what high value is. You don't know what high value is. Integrity, and it will always be. So that's it. That is all. Do right by people. Because what you put out, it comes back. You may, and that's another thing. You may be able to lie today, but you gotta, like, how are you living comfortably? How are you living? And then you will never live the reality of the lie that you told. Like, that sucks. I mean, I just don't get the point of lying. And then who you afraid of? I can't stand men that lie. What you lying for? Like, who are you afraid of? That's weak to me. I don't like that. It's not attractive. It's not. It's not. You a man, but you lying? Where they do that at? I'm trying to figure it out. You a man, but you lying. You a man, but you don't have integrity. How? Who are you? Who do you fear to where you cannot tell the truth? That's crazy. Because when I used to lie as a kid, I was afraid of getting my ass beat. I was afraid of a switch, an extension cord. I was afraid of little fly swatters. Girl, I was dodging that. So I had a reason too. But as a grown man, you lying, you afraid of who? I want to know. I don't get it. Make it make sense. That's crazy to me. So no, I'm not attracted to a man that lies, because it's just like, who are you afraid of to where you gotta lie? That's not attractive. That's very weak. It's just not attractive. It's not masculine at all. Who is checking you to the point to where you have to lie?
Plenty of things in my past. What do you mean by that?
Everything is right in your life. Everything is just the way you want it to be. That's how it is it? Yeah, sure. And good. If find someone like that, great. But I've never seen anyone like that. And psychopaths, they have no conscience. They lie all the time. Well, how do they get away with it? They don't. They have to move. because people figure out who they are and then they have to move on. And so you could say, well, that's getting away with it. It's like, well, no long-term relationships, no love, no trust, no brotherly affection, no friends, and generally no financial success, not in the real sense. How is that getting away with it? And then you might say, well, I've got away with it so far. It's like, maybe you have, and maybe you're just too dim to see the consequences because you've blinded yourself.
Listen, when he said psychopath, I was like, dang, I've dealt with a lot of those. They just be lying. He got me reevaluating my whole life. He said psychopath, people that just lie for no reason. Oh my goodness. Threw me off for a sec. I'm looking like, dang, did he really just say that?
God only knows who you could have been if you wouldn't have lied your way to where you are now. No, I've never seen it. And, sometimes I'd work with someone to untangle what had happened to them over multiple years as things fell apart. And we'd find all sorts of lies, not always ones they told, but sometimes lies their parents told them, for example, that deep, dark, terrible things, messing things up in a unbelievably catastrophic and tragic way. Now, it was absolutely terrifying. But I can't see how it just doesn't make sense. It's like, how could you possibly defend the idea that you could warp the structure of reality and get away with it? I mean, who, like I said, who do you think you are? Reality is, you don't mess with it. Like, it kills you, and it'll torture you quite a lot before doing that if you're particularly unlucky. So beware. They say the fear of God is the beginning of wisdom. Yeah. That's that judgmental God. It's like, you violate your conscience, man, you will pay. That's hell.
Yeah. No, that's really powerful. And I love the medical physical representation that you talk about throughout your books, because I think that's something really big in today's world, where a lot of individuals, there's a fear of societal consequences, and they don't speak the truth. And they lie,
yeah.
But their spirit and their souls is being torn apart on the inside. And though they appear to be getting away with it, when they sleep at night, they just know that they're not being their authentic selves, and they know they're living a lie.
Yeah, well, and they get weak.
I disagree with him. Listen, this generation does not fear societal consequences. This generation doesn't fear consequences at all. People really just be out here doing and not thinking about the consequences before they do the things that they do. So what fear? They fear judgment from people. That's it. But if they are not getting the judgment from people, they do not care. They do not fear consequences. They fear judgment, likes, social media, being blasted, being exposed. That's the only thing people fear these days. But they don't fear real consequences, just judgment. That's the world that we live in. That is the new world that we live in. Consequences, those are a thing of the past. People that fear them, at least. Consequences are real. But people that fear them nowadays, far in between at this point. Far in between. And that's basically what this conversation was about prior to this porn addiction combo. Women being picky. Women should be picky because of the consequences that come with not being picky. So, yeah, make better choices and decisions, and start by being selective and picky. You should be picky, very picky.
As you become what you practice, and if you withdraw and lie, you become a lying coward. That's what happens. You don't have to practice that much before that's the case. So is that what you want? Well, no one will come after me. It's yes, they will. Part of it is also really understanding in some way that there's no escape. There's no safe path. There's noble path. There's an honorable path. There's no safe path. And possibly you wouldn't want that anyways, because, well, who are you exactly? Look at you, warrior stock. Every single one of your ancestors has stayed alive for 3.5.
I'm sorry, Jordan, but you're talking to deaf ears at this point. These men don't care about honor. They don't care about legacy. They don't. Okay, this whole conversation has been so. I'm trying to get through it. It's just a mess. This conversation has been dragging, and it shouldn't. I don't know why it's dragging. Am I the only one that feel like it's dragging, or is it just me? These men do not care about honor. They don't even know what honor is. They don't care. They're all about looking a certain way, as long as it looks good. But real honor comes from being truthful, being authentic, actually having something real. That's the only way you can be honored in this world. But these men not getting it. And I don't know why. I don't know. They think they're going to get honor from pursuing a woman of shallowness. I don't get that. It don't make sense. So these men don't care about no honor and legacy. They don't care. It's a mess. It's a mess.
Billion years. It's like, good work, man. That's a lot. And so what makes you so sure you're built for safety? What makes you so sure that that's what we should strive for? And then if you want adventure, I'll tell you what an adventure is. You tell the truth as nearly as you can, and you'll have the adventure of your life. That's for sure. So, and that isn't trying to fit in because you're naive or, because you're too afraid to lie. That doesn't make you telling the truth. If you're too afraid to lie, that's, in a cowardly sort of way. There's a wise way of being too afraid to lie.
Yeah.
So, and I thought too, when I looked into atrocity deeply, and I looked into it for 15 years, meditated on the human capacity for atrocity. It was pretty awful. It was awful, reading those stories of what happened in the Nazi concentration camps and what happened everywhere. And then trying to think about what you'd have to be like to do that, and then thinking it through. It's awful. And it was doing that. I realized all that was tangled up with lies. And so that's part of this issue of male power. How do you keep male power noble and virtuous? With the truth. It's lies that turn competence into tyranny.
Yo, what's good, everybody? It's Hafiz.
Chris, to start the show, baby.
Yes. Welcome back. Roommates Uncut. Dropping on.
Now, this part is their reaction to the feedback that they got from the subscribers and the public. So they reflected on Jordan Peterson coming to their platform, their YouTube channel, their podcast, whatever the case. And they kind of reflect on that interview. And they also respond to some of, I don't want to say criticism, but rebuttal that they got from their fans, their supporters. So I'm going to be reacting to this part as well.
Friday. We're recording this Tuesday night.
Yes, Lord.
Yes, indeed. So, man, how have you been, Chris?
Man, Lord, I've been good. I have been challenged, but it's good. I think it's a part of life, and so yeah, I've been straight, man. What's going on with you?
Challenged in what way?
Just everywhere, man. I mean, just sticking to the workout routine. Definitely trying to get better as a man, consistency, creative wise, trying to start up different things, it's always, trying to get these schedules and yada, yada, yada. Yeah. So yeah, man, just trying to, grow, and see what happens. What about you?
Nah, I think.
What do you mean by that, Frankie?
Awesome week, as everybody knows. Jordan Peterson was on the podcast. Been working on that for the past 3 years of my life. Just consistently trying to improve, building the show to where it's a place where it's like this makes sense to show up. Yeah. And to me, it's just a good testament to the leveling up process of constantly getting better and just a journey, man. I think a lot of people don't realize that a lot of the guests that come on now, it's been years of seeds being planted. And I think in the culture of instant gratification, I think so many people want it today. Yeah. If they don't get it today, it's a failure. But nah, man, for a lot of things, it takes a long time.
Yeah, no, it was really good seeing that. I was very happy for you, very proud of you, because I know the story. Yeah. And our true fans that have been following us for a while, they know that we've been working on that for a very long time. Yeah. So man, I was glad to see you get it. I was glad to see it there. having that conversation, watching the video. So it was really good, man.
Yeah, so I actually wanted to talk a little bit about that episode. Like I said, this Tuesday, recording this on Tuesday. We don't have many topics, but I thought this would be an interesting topic because I talked a little bit with Stefan about this before the episode came out, and definitely when the episode came out, Stefan he hit me up about some things. So I want to talk to you about this idea. So I want to preface with two things.
Okay.
One, I don't know what
I
people were
agree.
saying
I agree with
in
that.
mass.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just talking about a few people who Stefan reached out to me about, who were commenting on our video as well as in the Jordan Peterson clip I want to talk about.
Yeah.
And the second thing is that one of the biggest things about the roommates, or one of our biggest core values, as you know, was a diversity of thought.
Yeah.
And on our website, we talk about our core values, that needs to be updated, but diversity of thought is one that we still have. And the idea is you have an open mind, discerning heart. Open your mind to listen to those who are different from you. Have a discerning heart to believe what you want to believe and reject what you want to reject. And so first and foremost, I realized like Jordan Peterson is a GOAT to me. He's one of the most brilliant minds of the 21st century. But the roommates is not a monolith, and there is space for people to disagree with him.
Yeah.
And so one, it kind of made me like a little bit happy in a sense that as intelligent as he is, people were still like, you know what, there's things I agree and disagree with. I thought that was great because there's no human being on the planet that you agree with everything that they said.
Yes.
So I love the diversity of thought within the guys who were, thinking critically about some of the things being said. Nevertheless, with that being said, I want to address something that some guys said. I want to make it clear, not most guys.
Mm-hmm.
Some guys said is because
Can we
I've
get
seen
to
a
it?
theme that's going on in.
Can we
in
get
the
to it
community,
soon?
around the
I mean, I would
community,
like to
in
go to bed.
society, especially as it pertains to men. So on Tuesday, I put out the clip. To me, the most eye-opening part of the podcast, I put out this clip, and was Jordan Peterson talking about the state of men and women in regards to why men are single.
Yeah.
So I asked him a question, and I honestly was expecting a very different answer.
It shocked me too. I'm not gonna lie to you. It shocked me too.
I was expecting a very different answer. And initially when he answered that question, I was like, dang, JP, I think they're a little out of touch. I was like, man, it's not what I thought.
He really
I
didn't.
think
He
you're a
just
little
agreed
out of
the
touch.
whole interview.
And then he continued.
Yeah.
And then he had a point that blew my mind. And it's a point that I think some guys are disagreeing with, that I believe they're really mistaken about the point. And the point was that the struggles of a man today, not men today, of a man today with women is a personalized problem.
Yeah.
It is a personalized problem. And so I thought that point was super powerful, and I believe too many men.
That's all he got out of that entire interview? A personal problem. He didn't have that conclusion. He didn't come to that conclusion on his own prior to that interview. He drew that out. He said all of that just to say it's personal. He could have just said it's personal. Oh, yo, this conversation got me tired. Like, I don't know. Like, it's just like, oh my gosh. It just reminds me of the worst date I ever went on. And this man was just very, like, he was just so talkative. He could talk. And I'm like, oh my God, he can talk. I can't get a word in. That's how I feel. And the reason why I can't get a word in within this conversation is because it takes them forever to get to the point. He could have been said that.
And misunderstood that point. And it's a combination of conditioning, the media they consume, and a vast hypocrisy when it comes to male accountability that I believe is very prevalent in our space.
Yeah, and what were and they were some of the guys were disagreeing with what he was saying.
So the premise I got from JP, which I loved, was I asked him, I said, there's men who feel as though one of the reasons why they're struggling with dating is because of the standards of women.
Yeah.
You've said that.
Yeah.
I've said that as well. You've heard those things. I've heard those things as well. And I said, what are your thoughts? And I kind of gave a brief summary of what the guys were saying. And he initially was like, it sounds like an excuse to me. Because if I was to really answer that question, I love this part.
Y'all killing me tonight. Y'all are killing me.
To be able to really decide what is your problem.
Yeah.
And so to me, I felt as though guys, they were saying that, no, the problem is primarily the women and not primarily an individual's breakdown of what's wrong with his life.
Yeah. No, when I first heard it and when he said it, it did shock me too. I was like, ooh, like that wasn't the answer I was expecting either. And then, as he continued, I was like, okay, I see what his point is saying. Yeah. And he, to me, when he explained it, it made completely perfect sense because you do need to figure out time. If they can't even see it themselves, you really have to dig deep, go through the layers and figure out what's going on and see, actually, are you putting your best foot forward?
Yeah.
Are you doing the things you need to do? And when he started explaining that and he was like, yeah, I mean, you could be perfect and all these women are all crazy. That could be the case, but most likely it's not. And I was like, okay, I see what he's saying. That did make sense. But as I sit back, I'm listening to it, I'm like, man, you know what? I can't let these women make it either. Yeah. I can't. Yeah. It's a two-part deal with.
Y'all gotta stop. Y'all gotta stop it. Stop it right now. Okay. Stop it. I can't. I'm trying to get through it. Lord, this is hard. Oh my gosh. I'm just like. Woo! Lord. Okay. Let me try to zero in on what they are trying to say. Okay. Let's continue.
With that, because I truly still believe, because his point is 100% true, that some of these women, not all, some of these women expectations is ridiculous.
I agree with that. And so to me, I want to make things 100% clear that I agree, and I've said it multiple times, that a lot of the women's standards today are unrealistic. But then I thought about it and I asked and I said, how does that affect an individual?
Yeah.
So if you are a man today and you want to date, remember, not men today, a man, you are an individual man. Do you believe that an individual man who's physically fit, emotionally healthy, spiritually grounded, and financially stable cannot find a quality woman, in your opinion?
It depends on how he looks. Like, I think the physical, to me, the physical things has to be so, like, I wouldn't say horrendous, but just, it has to be so, like, taken away from all the things you just said, what makes it harder. I want to clarify before you finish. I said just a quality woman. I want to make that clear. A quality woman. So continue. Got you. Can he get a quality woman?
Yes, he can. Okay. Listen. So Frankie, that's why I didn't stop the video, because this is going to tie in with my response with you as well. He said, can an individual man that is well put together, right, has integrity, right, because an actual high value man, right, can he get a quality woman? Yes. But if he has unrealistic beauty standards, no. And it ties into your comment because it seems like women who do like men who are deceptive, who play games, who have swag and all of that, you are attracting a certain type of woman. She's not of good quality, but you're attracting her because of how she looks, which is what he cannot get over. If she doesn't look a certain way, he's not interested. And see, this is the problem. Men consider women high value based off of their beauty, right? Women consider themselves high maintenance based off of their standards, their character, their all around quality. But you're looking at her from a shallow place. So you see her as below average in looks, but she has great quality to her. She has a good head on her shoulders. She's nice. She's kind. The best example of this is Just Right, starring Queen Latifah and what's her name? Pat. Gosh, I can't remember her first name. But in Just Right, Queen Latifah was a well-rounded woman. She was beautiful. She was smart. She had a lot going for herself. She was down to earth. She was a good woman with great quality. She was caring. She was a great Paula Patton. She was a great woman, right? But because she didn't look a certain way, she was overlooked by quote unquote quality men. But to be honest, I don't know why she ended up with little bald-headed man, and I call him bald-headed man in this movie because honestly, I felt like she could have done better. That's just my opinion, and I'm sticking with it. She could have done better because, first of all, I'm not about to settle with a man that didn't choose me first, because I got questions. I understand men make mistakes, but nope, couldn't be me. But Just Right is a prime example of this. Just Right ties into everything that he's saying that Frankie brought up. Listen, stop attracting, like you're going after a certain type of woman, but then you expect for her to be of great quality. You're attracting her, or you're trying to pursue her based off of shallow qualities. Get it? Y'all need to get it together. Y'all not making no sense. Y'all not. Y'all are delusional. You want a quality woman while chasing shallow qualities. You're going to get exactly what you're looking for. So I don't know what else to say. But Just Right. If you have not seen that movie, you should watch it. I don't like how it ends because I felt like Queen Latifah, she could have done better. But it's a great example of this conversation. It's a great example.
Yes, especially if he has those things that you're saying. It to me, only way that we can guarantee that he can get that quality of woman is that he has to have time with her. So initially, when he sees him, she has to accept, okay, I will give him more time. If he gets more time, then I think he can bag that woman easily because of the things you just said. Mm-hmm. But if she's not physically attracted to her or don't want to move forward just because what she sees on the outer, it's going to be harder.
I understand it, but my question is, it's not, and remember, a quality woman doesn't mean you're talking to one woman. It means you're talking to 100 women.
Yeah, you can find one.
And
you can find one.
And that's my
you can
my
find
point.
One, 100%.
And my point was, and it clicked in my brain. If your goal is just one quality woman, and clarified, I'm not talking about baddies.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about, Victoria's Secret models. I'm just saying quality woman, good character, nice person, aesthetics. I'm not talking about body. I'm not talking about all the extra things that people. I'm talking about there's a quality individual. You can get that.
Yeah, you can get one. They don't want her, but you can get one. They don't want her, but
you heard that.
He said that's the thing.
They don't want her though.
I really want to hear a good argument that a guy can't get one, because to me, the way I thought about it like this was, this is how my brain is thinking. I hope it makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, imagine, does racism exist in the world? Yes.
Yeah.
Are there some people who don't get a certain job because of racism? Yes. Is the reason you have no job today because of racism?
No.
There are other reasons. It's not the reason you're unemployed today. Not saying the reason you didn't get a job wasn't because of racism. The reason that if a person's telling me right now, I have no job and I'm a adult man, because of racism alone, to me, that is not an excuse, because it's probably if we look at your resume, if we look at your interview skills, we look at your qualification, if we analyze all the other variables, there's probably things that you're doing. How many places you're applying to? How much time people are you following up
with? How many
with?
typos you got? All
Exactly.
Kinds of stuff.
And so what I loved about that JP message was that when you make it, oh, I'm single because of women,
all of them,
it now takes any responsibility from an individual to improve himself. And even to my point, is even if you're an average guy, why are you average? Who consumes this content?
When you put a question like that, it brings all the responsibility and accountability on them. If I had to play devil's advocate,
I want to hear devil's advocate.
If I had to play devil's advocate, and we're doing to me, if we're talking about just a quality woman, I feel like if you like the quality that you said, if you apply yourself, have a basic job that has good foundations, spiritually, emotionally, mentally healthy, physically healthy, you can find one quality woman. But let's be honest. If these guys are talking about marriage, they're going to want the best that he can get.
I love that. And let me push. And this one dude called in about that.
Okay.
Listen, y'all
and
killing
I said,
me tonight.
I love that point. If it comes to marriage, the guys are going to want the best they can get.
Yes.
But when the women do that, they shit on them.
Yeah. See, this is where we can get canceled. We not get canceled.
Let's go. It's uncut.
So with the guys, the thing is, the average woman are having, if I'm playing devil's advocate, the average woman having too high of an expectation. So they feel like they can, if a woman, she's average.
Too high of an expectation according to whom? Listen, all I hear are two men whining about how they don't qualify. That's what I'm hearing. Now listen, in order for you, this is the world that we live in, and they complaining. Men, grown men complaining, grown, they whole life. In order for them to achieve a certain level, let's say school, right? You had to pass quizzes, tests, you had to do homework. Things were required of you, right? Because that is the world that we live in. In order for you to elevate in life, requirement is required. No, requirement is a necessity. It's necessary for everybody. So this conversation is no different. In order for you to graduate high school, you have to take the state test, the constitutional test. You have to go through so much in order to elevate through the school system. So because of that, this situation is no different. Women have been socially conditioned and programmed their entire lives to meet certain requirements. So if she's dating a man, why would that not be an extension? Why would there not be an extension of her to have requirements for herself if she's being forced to meet certain requirements? That doesn't even make sense. Yeah, these people, and then that's their whole brand is about leveling up, getting their life together, like becoming their best selves. But then you get mad at women that are doing the same thing. You get mad at women because they are also in the same energy that you're in. It's almost like that hating friend where it's like, oh yeah, I want you to do good. I want you to be better, but not better than me. Is that jealousy? Is that envy? Are you mad? Are you jealous at women? Are you envious at women at the fact that they're requiring more and some of them are actually receiving the things that they are requiring? There are men out here willing to meet the standards that they have set for themselves. Are you jealous and envious of that you have to meet them? Or else, I don't get that. That doesn't make sense. I don't even have that mindset. Like, if I preach about leveling up, I preach about changing your life, you have the power to do so. Why would I expect for a man to do the same? That doesn't make sense. That does not make sense. Why would I not want men to do the same? Yes, learn how these men think so then you can learn how to move. So you can learn how to deal with them. It really, this whole conversation sounds like jealousy. Envy. I'm mad that I am not a woman. I want to be a woman. I want to be a woman because it seems like it's easier for them. And it's not. It's really not. So I don't get that. I don't get that. I don't get that. They are intimidated. They are insecure. They are everything but high value. Because a high value man wouldn't care. He's his best self. He don't care. He is his best self. He's not threatened by a challenge. A woman challenging him to meet standards? What? He don't care about that. But these are alpha males that are complaining about being challenged in life.
She feel like she deserves and she should get an above average guy.
Real quick, 100 women are in a room.
Yeah.
How many of them would not take an above average guy? If there's 100 women in the room, how many of them say, I don't want to be in a serious relationship with an above average guy of 100 women?
Which community are we talking about?
I'm go black, white, Asian, whatever you want to go, whatever community you want to go to. I'm curious your opinion.
I would feel like out of those women, I would say at least 80% will want above average. At least.
So they will want above average.
All 80 women will want above average.
Okay.
I think the other 20 just like, if they raise correctly, they'll take what they take.
So there's 20. Okay, cool. Back to your stories.
Yeah. So if they're trying to marry these women, they're going for above average, right?
The guys?
They're trying to get the best they can get.
Yeah.
With the women, the ones that most of these guys feel like they're average, their expectations are they're looking for above average guys. With these,
wait. So the average girls want above average guys?
Yes.
Okay.
Do you agree with that?
I agree, but my point is that every guy watches content by default should be at least above.
Whenever they speak on a woman being average, once again, they are strictly speaking on her looks. She does not see herself as average because she's not just considering her looks, she is also considering her qualities. So of course she's going to walk around in her high maintenance, high standards energy because she has more to offer than her looks. For God's sakes, y'all. Oh, I'm getting frustrated because I'm just like, what are they not getting? She does not see herself as below average or average because of her qualities. You see her as below average or average because you are only considering her looks. And that is the problem. It's not women. Oh my gosh. That's why you got Kevin Samuels online rating women. And it's stupid that they rate themselves because, sis, you're rating yourselves based off of a beauty standard? That's all you have? That's all you have to offer? That's it? That's it? Just your looks? And then I sit down with some of these men and they want someone that they can have an intellectual conversation with, but because they want a bird brain, an empty nest woman up here, she ain't got no brain up there, no intellect, right? They want to get mad and they want to be upset and frustrated. And then my question is, can you even handle an intellectual woman? Because by the sounds of this conversation, I don't think you can. So maybe the shallowness type of woman is the type of woman that you should get. But don't get mad at a woman who does not consider herself to be average or below average because she has more to offer than just her looks. Change your mindset. Oh, Lord. Yes, they are snitching on themselves. This average, below average, it's all off of looks. It's not based off of quality. And then you didn't learn anything from Jordan Peterson, because if you did, the whole interview, he literally said integrity. Integrity. Pick a woman that's honest. Pick a woman that's honest. Pick a woman that tells the truth. I mean, how many ways does he have to lay it to you? I don't get it. He done said it so many, and they hear once again talking about average and looks, and it's just, come on. I don't really think they could handle an intellectual woman, to be honest. And I'm not even saying that to be mean, because their conversations are so low vibrational. Raise them a little bit. Get around some women of quality and not just looks.
Average. So you can get a quality woman.
So yes and no. I really feel like for them to succeed, they have to put themselves in position to really get those above average women. And depending on the woman, they have to have certain things for them to really attract them.
So you can't, but I look, I think what's happening is that I'm not denying that I don't think it's 80-20, because I see so many people. I didn't see so many guys who have girlfriends. A lot of guys talk who even complain about women. They've had girlfriends. A lot of average guys still get married in this world. I don't want to act like there's not a thing going on. But what I'm saying is that, am I saying it's easy?
No, it's not easy.
Yeah. So I think the challenge is that if you want a woman and you're a man who's putting in the work and you're above average, in my opinion, you can get a woman.
But to me, the above average is what we have to really talk about, because what's above average man?
Exactly.
Because the above average man can probably be an average woman in a woman's mind, especially if we talking about money and salary. It's like, okay.
And that's to me where it's like, now it's not about quality. Because now if men are gonna make quality tied to beauty, which it makes sense, why do you get mad when they make quality tied to height?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, because height is uncontrollable, obviously.
Beauty is uncontrollable too.
100%, but it's like it's not even about the average part. Like, we're not the above average part.
And listen, ladies, a lot of these men are jealous of the fact that you can go out here, you can get your plastic surgery, you can go and get all of these beauty enhancements done, but they still gonna be short at the end of the day. And the only way they would ever get a real chance at a woman is if they got some money with their short height. But they can't go out here and get taller. So a lot of these men be jealous and envious of the fact that you can use your beauty, you can enhance it, you can do all of these things to improve the quality of man that you attract based off of shallowness. Yes, because they understand that a certain type of man, they're going to go after a certain type of woman depending on how she looks. And y'all, to the women that are out here, a BBL ain't it. Okay, not the BBLs that we see on Instagram, not them. Now, if you get a very natural, like a what are they calling them now, a slim BBL, maybe. But for the most part, I'm talking about like maybe some eyelash extensions, maybe some fillers or something like that are very subtle and stuff like that. But a lot of these men get jealous of the fact that you have all of these avenues. You're so resourceful when it comes to your beauty. They hate it. They hate it. They hate it because they can't do what you do and use it to their advantage, but you can. And that's why they're mad at all of these women that are out here getting these BBLs and plastic surgeries and beauty enhanced. They hate a woman that wears weave and all of that because they're like, oh, she's getting farther and farther out of my league. And the only way that I get back in her league is if I get my money up, because I can't get my height up. I can't get taller. They have height procedures out here, but can these men afford it? You know, a lot of them don't got good credit, and you know they can't get credit care. So it's just something to think about. You know, us women, we take care of our credit. A lot of these men, they don't be doing that. They probably gonna try to get a woman to pay for their height enhancement procedure. Let me stop. Let me stop. And you know who else got good credit though? You know who else got good credit? I don't know. Maybe it's just a feminine energy thing, but gay men got good credit too. So they may even switch to the other team. That's another thing you gotta look out for. They may switch to the other side, try to get a gay man to pay for their procedure, and then switch back over once they get the height. Yes. So you gotta be careful out here. That's what they're mad about. They are like, this whole conversation, it just screams, I'm jealous of women. I'm jealous of all the resources that they have. I'm jealous of the fact that the world caters to them in this way. That's what they're mad about. But men made it this way. Men created the world. Men created the world that we live in, even though we give them life. And I'm not going to get started on that. We give them life, but they created this world. That's another topic for another day. But yeah, something about feminine energy and good credit. Masculine energy, tragic. So let's go ahead and get back to it. It's just something about masculine energy and bad credit. I don't know what it is. Ego. It's ego. Okay. Ego. Okay.
Part. Some of these guys, they feel like they are average or above average. So some of these women, they are already there themselves. And we're talking about stability. Let's just say, most of these women, they all college educated, they make more money than us. So 50,000 to her and she makes 80 is unattractive. It's just period. So it's like, hey, fees, I do make 70,000, but all the women I'm around, they all want a guy that makes this much.
So to me, and this is
this is me playing devil's advocate.
I understand, and I like what you're doing here, because I thought to myself, and like I said, I say every above average guy that I know who's getting better, all of them are married in a relationship. I don't know any guy who's actually doing better, because what happens is, like, even I look at my story. Is there 7 women who didn't want me? Yeah, but there were 3 that wanted me.
Yeah.
So to me, it's like when guys act like this is why I'm single. Yeah. I'm like, no, that's not only reason why you're single. And to the point about the quality is that when I talk about quality women, I'm talking about kind, honest, trustworthy, dependable.
Am I the only one that feels like this conversation is feminine? Hear me out. Okay. Men control commitment. They control marriage. We literally have 2 men sitting down talking about why they are single. I mean, I can understand why women sit down and complain and talk about why they single. But men, it's like you literally have 100% control over who you choose to be in a committed relationship with. You control marriage. Women, we control your legacy, whether or not we birth your offspring. We control sex, but y'all control marriage. Y'all control whether or not if a woman gets in a relationship with you or not. It's not the other way around. So this entire conversation is very feminine to me, and it's not because of who they are. It's just the conversation. It don't make sense to me. It don't. It doesn't make sense to me. It don't, because I'm just like, there are so many women ready to be in committed relationships. It has to be who you're choosing. It has to be. Women may pick men, right? But you guys are still in control. You guys control marriage. Because, I mean, nowadays, yeah, we see women out here in some cases proposing to men, but that's still not the majority, though. That's still not the majority. Men propose to women. Men do. Men sit you down and say, hey, I want to be in a committed relationship with you. That is what a masculine, dominant alpha male is, correct? They take lead, right? So this conversation is just, it don't make sense. It don't. I can see why women sit around and complain about being single and why they can't find a good man and everything like that, because we have to go off of who approaches us, but you guys do the approaching. You guys do. So y'all not leading, and that makes this conversation very feminine to me. It does. So I just, why men are single today? Like, what? Crazy. The times that we live in, though, that's crazy. Why men are single? What? They should have labeled this video why men can't get the women that they want. Yeah. Not why are they single? You single by choice. Why modern men can't get the women that they want? You're probably lazy, okay? You're probably not, and you're not becoming your best self. You don't have any emotional intelligence. You're probably chasing the wrong type of woman to begin with. Like, maybe it's you. And that's what Jordan Peterson was saying the whole interview. This conversation doesn't make sense, but it just makes the Black community once again take another L.
Faithful.
And then I can ask you, how many women do you know that has all those qualities?
That don't have the look that I look for? A lot.
Well, I'm saying, but you have to factor the look in there, though.
But
you have to.
Here's my criticism of myself has always been, I cannot get mad at women for their standards, but then think mine are cool.
Yeah.
Me personally, I have a very high look standard. I know because of pornography changed the way my brain thinks, because it changed the way my brain thinks.
Yeah.
So my appetite, I don't like average looking women.
Yeah.
But just because she's average looking doesn't mean she's not a quality woman. I'm just not attracted to her. But women make that same argument. We give them no slack for that. Yeah. Women say it all the time. Well, I just don't like guys who are under 6'1". Like, why does an inch matter? He's still a great guy. Blah, blah, blah.
But, I mean, because it's like it's to be like, I don't know what the right word is, but it's like when you're trying to talk to a guy that doesn't have the character or all the qualities, but he's 6'5", versus the guy that has everything that you're looking for, but he just doesn't have the.
Listen, man. Okay, don't groom us and socially program us, right, to digest your toxic masculinity with height. Okay, these men created this toxic masculinity narrative, and honestly, it starts with, oh, you're not a real man if you don't do this, or you're not a real man if you're not this. You guys associated femininity with being short. You guys used your toxic masculinity and associated taller men to be more masculine. But then you get mad at women who don't want a shorter or average in height man. Make it make sense. Y'all not making sense. Okay? Y'all want to get mad at us. Why did you guys associate short men or short people to be more feminine? Y'all did that. We didn't. That's toxic masculinity. It's backfiring, huh? Yeah. I'm talking to you. Yes. We did. Women didn't do that. We were like, oh, you gay, you short, or you like we didn't do that. Y'all did, and then y'all conditioned us with it. Now you're mad that we don't want to go for short men. We don't see you as masculine because we have been conditioned not to by you. Oh my gosh.
Height, to me, those guys would never accept that.
My question is, how many men talk to baddies? I've been there.
Yeah, but are they marrying them?
Huh?
Are they marrying them? They gonna talk to everybody.
No, look, when I'm saying how many men talk to baddies,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
And then they're saying, you know what? I'm now marrying the average woman. Because
listen, I don't know who put the caps in the comments, but listen, I'm a tall woman, right? You guys associate tall women with masculinity, right? I mean, look at Megan Thee Stallion. She, that whole situation with Tory Lanez was a mess. Yeah, it was a mess. Y'all need to take some accountability with this height situation. Y'all socially programmed us and groomed us with your toxic masculinity and associated masculine energy with being tall. We did not. And then y'all label women men who are tall. Make that make sense. Or mannish.
What I've noticed is that the guys who are used to dating very attractive women, when they can't find quality women, all the guys I know who are putting in the work, getting better, a little above average at this point.
Yeah.
Their problem isn't they can't find quality women.
Yeah.
They can't find quality women that they like the way she looks.
Yeah.
Because you found plenty of quality women, but she didn't look the way you wanted her to look.
Yeah. No, I 100% agree. When you are at that above average level, you do unlock the quality women. Now you got to follow quality and looks.
Now listen, why did they associate masculinity with Michelle Obama and Serena Williams? Was it because they were more on the muscular side? They had muscle definition? And then you guys get mad at women who want a muscular man because they see that as the most masculine? They see that as masculine? Not a man with a bird chest? Or men with big, men that have man boobs. I mean, y'all don't socially program us and condition us to accept you guys in that way. Like, y'all look at it as feminine, weak, or I don't know. If you guys socially programmed us, and it starts, with commercials, ads, and things like that, I mean, maybe we would. Women, we started the body positivity movement. I mean, you see what Rihanna is out here doing, and she's also including bigger men within her runway shows. Yeah. Listen, bird chest, they are the ones that told me that. Where do you think I got that from? A bird chest? Men. I didn't get it from me. It ain't from me and my homegirls. It ain't from me and my friends. Bird chest, that's their lingo. That's not my lingo. So listen, you guys associate muscle and height with masculinity, and then you get mad at women who want that. Like, come on, make it make sense.
Yes.
No argument there. But I can't not agree to some of the pushback where it's like that some of these women, even when I was above average, I still got denied by women that were lower than me, that shouldn't be denying me. You don't look that good to deny me.
I understand that. And to me, that point is irrelevant. And this is what the guys were getting wrong. That point is irrelevant to why a person is single. As a man, you will always get rejected. That's a natural part of life. You will always get rejected. Not every woman will want you. And based upon what you've built yourself as a man, you will either have more options or less options.
100%.
Are some women's standards unrealistic? Yes, it's 100% true. But that's not what's keeping any man from being single. There's no man today as an individual outside of an anomaly. Who's saying, I'm thinking about what I just said. Physically fit, and I mean in shape, healthy, and we can even talk about the stock component. Emotionally healthy, spiritually grounded, financially stable, and he can't find one.
No, he can find one. He ain't found the one that he actually want yet, but he can find one. And like I said, I'm just playing devil's advocate.
No, I like it. I wanted you to do this.
Yeah, so that's it. To me, it's just it's more. It's not. I'm trying to figure out how these guys think. It's not just the fact that men have the standards and women have the standards. It just seems like the women's standards are way more superficial and way more out of pocket, where it's like it's dang it impossible. So your standards, it's only 10 guys can meet your standards. Even though I'm in the top 80%, that you want the top 90.
Let me personally push back on that one. I want to push back on it because I think we've done a bad job.
Now, to the men that watch sports out here, because he was like, I'm in the top 80, but women want the top 90. So to the men out here that watch sports, do you want your team to come in second place, third place, or do you want your team to come in first place? I want to know. Like, let me talk sports for a sec, because I used to play sports. Do you want your team to come in second and third or first place? So why would you expect for a woman, if she had the choice between 80 or 90, why in the hell would she choose 80? If she could aim for 90, why would she not want to choose 90? That doesn't make sense to me. Yes, lower than me. You do not have the right to reject me. Yeah, very dangerous. Thank you for bringing that up. That's very dangerous. This is crazy. This is my mind is blown. This conversation is very shallow. It's crazy. But I don't get that. Like I'm trying to understand. And then they love to throw around the word gold digger. Gold digger. Gold digger. Men have been out here digging for gold for centuries. So why wouldn't a woman dig for gold if she could? Now we're the worst on the planet because we want to dig for gold. Like, why wouldn't you want to dig for gold? That doesn't even make sense. That doesn't even make sense. Why are men out here digging for diamonds and stuff? Like, why? Come on, they got like I don't understand. I don't. Whenever my brother his fantasy football team loses, he's pretty upset because they didn't win. So why would a woman settle? Like, y'all want women to settle because it makes you feel better? That's what I'm getting. Makes you feel comfortable? Yeah. And then in order to gold dig, there has to be gold. Oh man. And y'all keep talking about how there's not enough gold to go around. So how are there so many gold diggers walking around? What gold?
Job of doing so. And I want to have this conversation with you, but I want to have it on Patreon where we can talk about some new ones. So let's go to Patreon. I want to talk about.
Oh, y'all, my mic was off. I'm sorry. But like I was saying, I'm drained. This conversation was draining. I don't feel like we got anywhere because they still came back and that was their reflection video, which I'm speechless. Like, I don't know what else to say. I told you guys that I really feel like these topics online, social media in general, it's damaging the dating scene. It is. Dating coaches are damaging the dating scene. Male or female, it don't even matter. It don't. It doesn't even matter. Listen, if you want to have a better dating life, get a life coach, get a therapist, get some counseling, get an advisor. Okay? Leave the dating coaches alone. Stop playing games with people. Okay? Lord Commander. Oh my God. I don't know if I like that name. Ew. And I said it out loud. We don't want women to settle. If you want a Royce, I don't know which I don't know, but you only have 40K. You aren't settling. The RR dealership will laugh you out of the showroom. I don't get your point. I don't. Send me another $5 so I can get your point. Better yet, send me 20 to get your point because I don't get your point. I don't get it. It sounds like this whole conversation is about complaining about women not settling and men not meeting women's standards because women are not settling. That's what this whole conversation was about. It wasn't about why men are single. It was about why men can't get the women that they want without meeting a woman's standards. Yeah, that's what it was about. The whole conversation, very draining. Okay. So, yeah, you know what? Send me 20. Men, yeah, the reality is men want women to settle. That is the reality. They do. They do. Why? Because it makes it easier on them. They don't have to work for nothing. Okay, they don't have to work for nothing. They don't have to put in any. They don't have to put in any real effort. Every day on this app, we hear about how men are being coached to take a woman on a coffee date. Coffee is like $5. Coffee. Listen, like I tell y'all this all the time, because men are like, well, we don't know if she's worthy of a real date. Call her. Be consistent. Communicate with her. You know. That's what our parents did. That's what our grandparents did. They called. They called. They talked. They communicated. You don't have to take a woman out on a $20 coffee date to get to know her or to see if she's worthy of a date. Don't be cheap. It's not cute. It's not. It's just cheap. I don't like that. I mean, good Lord. I mean, you can, and then now you got Snapchat, you got Instagram. If you really want to see if she's worthy, I mean, come on. Right. You have FaceTime. Our parents and grandparents didn't even have FaceTime. They didn't have video chat. So I'm like, listen, y'all just cheap, you're lazy. Just be real about it. Because calling somebody and being consistent and talking to them to get to know them to see if they're worthy of a date is free. Well, I mean, you do got to pay your phone bill. Some of y'all don't even want to do that. Some of y'all don't even want to do that. Y'all don't even want to pay the phone bill. But listen, it is free to get to know a woman. Just call her. You don't have to be cheap with a coffee date. And listen, y'all know that there is an age restriction when it comes to me and coffee dates. Okay. If you're in college, it's an exception. Out of college, it's a hell no. That's ridiculous. He's being cheap. And you are not cheap. You are not a cheap date. I don't know who you are not a cheap date. You are not. So it is free. If men want to get to know you, they can call you. It is cheap. Like it's free. Well, I mean, they got to pay their phone bill, but it's come on. So that's an excuse. I got an answer for you. Just ask me. I got an answer. I'm trying to think what else. You guys, I'm going on vacation. So I wanted to do this live tonight. I actually catch my flight tomorrow morning at 8. Oh, well, thank you, sir. I appreciate the $20. You see what happens when you ask? You shall receive. That's what they say. When you don't ask, a closed mouth does not get fed. That's what they said. Okay. I mean, you got my attention. Okay. But yeah, I'm going on vacation, you guys. So yeah, I'm gonna see y'all later. I'll try to be back on here by honestly, I want to do a live on Saturday. There was a post that I wanted to talk about, but this live is too long. It's already 2 hours. There was something else that I wanted to talk about, but I'm about to talk about it later. Follow me on Instagram because I'm going to be still active on there, but I'm not going to be active on YouTube. But you guys, let me leave on this though. I do want to leave on this. Let me pull it up because this was hilarious. This was hilarious, and I had to post it. Hold on, let me show y'all. Listen, we raising these girls' rights, okay? This next generation, they better have it together because these girls, these young ones, they learning early. They sure are. Come on, hurry up. Why is my internet slow? Listen, AT&T, if you are listening, you are trash. You are trash. Come on. Okay. Hold on. Let me not be negative. Let me not. Because I don't want you to be acting up even more. Okay, you're not that bad. You're not that bad. Okay, work with me. Come on, work with me. Oh my God, y'all. Oh my goodness. Because I have to leave y'all with this. Y'all know I like to leave my lives on a good note. On a positive note. Well, I'm trying. I mean, the internet is just as slow as this conversation. This conversation was slow. I felt retarded. Then I started stuttering myself. I'm like, oh my God, what is going on? Okay. Lord. I'm taking a bubble bath after this.
And my daughter came in with this.
Hold on.
Sassy. Mom, I'm gonna tell you this before they take me. They're gonna say a lot. Because you know how you told me men are providers and protectors, right? Men are providers and protectors. So that means they go outside and work.
This is my favorite video right now.
Yeah. So you know how David's dad stay home, right? So I was about to make a TikTok, and my daughter came in with this. Sassy. Mom,
Why is it not showing?
I'm this before they take this, because they're gonna say a lot. Because you know how you told me men are providers.
I love this video, y'all. It's so cute.
So that means they go outside and work. Okay. Yeah. So you know how David's dad stay home, right? Yes. While David's mom goes out and work.
Okay, now.
So I was about to make a TikTok, and my daughter came in with this. Sassy. Mom, I'm gonna tell you this before they take this, because they're gonna say a lot. Because you know how you told me men are providers and protectors, right? Men are providers and protectors. So that means they go outside and work. Okay. Yeah. So you know how David's dad stay home, right? Yes. While David's mom goes out and work. Okay. So they was bothering me, talking about all other stuff, and I was like, that's why your dad's a bitch. And then he's like, I'm gonna tell you.
She need to be checked for that.
So I was like, okay, but I don't want you to be mad at me because I call him a bitch because he stays home while his wife is working. They want to speak to you downstairs.
They want to speak to you downstairs. Like, oh my God. First of all, y'all know I don't.
So I was about to make a TikTok, and my daughter came in with this.
What is up with the internet? Come on. Sassy. Y'all know I don't condone kids cussing. Okay. She need to be checked for cussing. But this mentality, this mindset that she has, no, she needs to keep that part. The cussing part, no. But the context of this conversation, oh no, she's right on the money with that one. I'm sorry. Why is your father not working? And listen, kids was probably being mean to her. Should she have used the B word? No, of course not. But listen, did she lie? Okay. So listen, we need to teach our girls this. We do. That build a woman, build a man, that's played out. Okay. And she knows that. That ain't it. That ain't the way to go. So listen, she shouldn't have cussed. She would be on punishment if it was me. But she didn't lie. So why your man ain't working? We all want to know. The internet wants to know why your man ain't working. You over here working, going to work every day, taking care of these kids. Why he ain't got no job? I want to know. Now, of course, that doesn't include men that are sick, men that may catch an illness or something like that. Y'all know exactly who we're talking about, the type of men that we're talking about. And we're not talking about anyone that's out here fighting a mental illness or their health is deteriorating or anything like that. You know how people love to reach. We're talking about the dusties, the ones that are able to work, but for whatever reason, they seem like they can't find a job. So yeah. That's all that I have for tonight's video, you guys. I will see you guys when I get back. And you guys enjoy the rest of your week and try to get through this work week because I know how that can be. And I will see you guys soon. Bye.